Hey everybody, welcome back to Awakened Intuition. My name is Steve and I've got another video for you today here. One that is resonating with me personally right now and I think will help you too in your spiritual journey. The idea is to ground ourselves, People always say we need to be more grounded, we need to be more rooted, we need to be less all around the world and more here, more grounded. And my struggle with this was always grounded to what? What am I grounding? Are my ideas too abstract? Are my visions too crazy? Because I'll be honest, I do make a lot of crazy decisions. Just to say, when it came to school, I only auditioned to one school for college. Essentially, it was auditioning because of music. When I moved out into this apartment, I basically didn't really have a job lined up at the time that was really going to help me with my bills. But I took the leap of faith nonetheless, and I thought maybe my ideas are too abstract, maybe they're too crazy, maybe they aren't grounded. But that couldn't be, because it's the abstract and excellent ideas that move us forward and create awesome things. So ground ourselves to what? The truth is, we need to ground ourselves to the moment. How do we ground ourselves to the moment, and why should we? Well, the ever-flowing nature of reality, time, and consciousness is always about. It is always fleeting. It is always moving. We like to deal in absolutes. We like to be absolutely sure that at least in the past our memories were what they were. At least in the future we hope that we can create some type of life that will be good for us. We are clinging and we live for these absolutes. The truth is there is only one absolute, which in itself is not really an absolute. The one true absolute is that everything is fluid. That everything is constant. There is no state of stillness. And it is in this no stillness that there is stillness. To explain further again, as time and reality is moving forward, so too are we. That is the only constant. That things are always perpetuating and moving forward. That the past is not, and the future is not. Those are absolutes that we try to cling to. But the only absolute is that there is no absolute. That things are always moving. And when we try to resist that flow, we don't ground ourselves. We must ground ourselves to the moment, the experience and flow of time, the ever-changing, precise nature of reality. And this is what we need to ground ourselves to, because in this moment is a profound power. In this moment that is changing, as always, so too are we. The flow of time is no different than us. Our time is always changing. Our bodies are organic. They are changing all the time. The cells in our bodies move about. Our mind is working. Our body is moving. Our skin is changing. Our weight, our everything is changing in time as our body develops and moves through time. So too does everything else. We like to think that we don't. We love to exist in the past, live off of these memories, live for the future, live for the day that's one day gonna get here. But we aren't grounded in the true purpose and the power of what is now, the power of nowness, the power of totality. Because in the power of now, you recognize that everything is one. And that is special. You are the distant star, the tree, the person. It's a mirror image reflected back on itself. So this is why we must ground ourselves. When it comes to grounding ourselves, there are some things we can do. Most people try to take control and say, I want to live now, I want to live now, I want to be now, I'm here now. But all that does is just create an abstraction of thought that says, I think I'm being here now, but now has already passed. There's no analysis of what happens in this moment, because to analyze it is beyond the point. There's nothing to analyze. And even if you could analyze it or make an attempt, there's too much information unfolding at this point in time. So you can't analyze it. You may think you're doing well, but that comes back to the idea of abstraction, of worrying about the past or living in the past or shooting for that future in the absolute. The thought is what separates us from the now, right? It's just the natural flow. So you don't want to entertain your thoughts when you're trying to enter this state. You just are. And that's conceptually the most simple thing you could say. Just do whatever is going on. But actually, it's one of the hardest things to achieve. It is basically what is called enlightenment, the ability to do nothingness. And that's not a bad thing. Nothingness, people will think that's boring, that's boring, that's boring. But is it? I mean, think about the, or maybe not think, but just in this second, think about the infinite details that are going on. I don't think that's boring at all. In fact, it's rich, it's vibrant, it's life. It's the point of everything, that there is just constant nature about, and you are it. That's the other key component. It's not boring when you realize that you're a part of it and you're a direct response, and it too is a response to you at all times. Not boring at all. It's not a brain dead, dull sort of I'm doing nothing. It's a vibrancy. It's the essence of life. Because life doesn't exist back then or over there in the future in time. Life exists now in time, which is organic itself. Time is organic itself. It is always moving, and we are part of that. And that is why we must ground ourselves in it, because as the human mind likes to think, we love to separate ourselves from it. So to come back to my main point, when you try to think yourself into the moment, it doesn't work. Instead of associating yourself with your thoughts, become an observer. Observe your thoughts. Don't entertain them. When you're trying to meditate, don't entertain the thoughts. Observe the thoughts. A passive watcher, like cars on the street. I do this a lot to help myself get into a good state. I'll go down to the water and I'll sit on the pier, basically, and there's a big bridge along the way across the water that leads to the beach and on the other side of the bay. And I'll watch the cars drive by. And I don't try to judge. I don't try to analyze. I just observe as all the cars and people and animals and nature just go their way. And I just observe it. And that's what our thought process should be. Observation rather than analysis. Observation rather than association. It's the observation that just allows us to be neutral and exist. So that's one thing you can do. Observe the thoughts. And another thing I also like to do is put my awareness in my body. You know, we have a lot of thoughts going on, and perhaps we're not usually aware to all the sounds and all of the wonderful things that are happening because we're not paying attention to them. We're not physically and mentally aware of the reality that is occurring around us. So what we should do is we should focus our attention into the moment. Focus on how your body feels. Put the awareness in your hand. How does your hand feel? Don't think about the thoughts. Once you put your awareness into your body, your thoughts will start to go away. It's actually funny because breathing, living, moving, walking, for us at this point, it requires no conscious thought. We don't need to question it. We can just do it. We don't need to question why our heart beats and why our blood circulates through our body. We don't need to question why we breathe and how we do it. Therefore, we are alive because we're well. We don't need to think about that. It's a natural, organic, voluntary response that just happens. The same is true for the moment. You don't need to question it. You don't need to analyze it. When you bring your focus into the moment through thinking of your body and just observing your body, I should say, and observing the nature of reality around you, you are already becoming one with it. And the last but not least, to ground yourself, recognize that there is no difference. There's no separation between you and it. There's no space and boundary that divides you at all. It doesn't exist. It's not real. That is a mind conditioning of the human race, that we think that we are different. We're always trying to analyze everything, put it into parts, dissect everything, figure everything out. But it's just funny because there's no possible way to obtain all of that information in our human mind at all. And by doing this, we only complicate it and complicate what it is. The same way we complicate our breathing. If you try to think about, I need to breathe now, I need to use my heart to pump blood through my body. These are nonsense thoughts that don't require any thought. You just do it. You just exist in that time. You don't have to think about that. I mean, maybe on special occasions if you have asthma or something, sure. But generally speaking, you don't have to do that because it's a natural thought. So this is why we must ground ourselves, because it's essential to our happiness and our peace. And really, I guess the point of it all, the point is now. It's the present. It is what you want it to be. It's just what is going on, But if we keep living in the past, the shadow of regret and the shadow of the past looms over us. It holds us down. It depresses us. It makes us sad. It makes us want to return to better times, or it reminds us of times that are worse. It reminds us of why we aren't ready. It ungrounds us from the moment. It takes us away. And when we worry for the future in front of us, it's like the carrot that hangs in front of the horse and just keeps walking forever, trying to grasp this thing in front of them that they can never achieve. Because that's not the point. The point is not to forever reach for the future. The point is to live now. And then the future will come through intention and desire of what you want to achieve. But in this moment is the power. In this moment is the ability to shape your reality. You are a creator. You have the ability to create what you want, the lifestyle that you want, because that's that human essence. And when you don't live in this moment, your mind is distracted. You're searching for absolutes. You're not flowing with the nature of reality, because you are the nature of reality. There is no difference. And that's the message for today. Ground yourself. How to ground yourself and why you should. It's essential to our development. And actually, it's going to only provide you with joy and peace. Don't complicate it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the highs, enjoy the lows, enjoy the moment. It's a gamble. You take that gamble by living in the moment. We try to have this sense of security by going to what we know in the past, or basing the future off of what we know from our past. But the true gamble is in the moment. We think we have security by living in these abstractions and these desires of the past and future, but in all reality, all it really does is it just takes us away from that infinite power that we have at our disposal. Because the universe in reality is infinite, and its potential is infinite and expansive, and because we are a direct part of that, we too are infinite and expansive, but that energy can't be tapped into until we become part of it and accept that we're part of it. Perhaps there's more to say, but I think I'd like to cut it here because there's a lot to digest, right? So as always, I'll be making more videos in and out when I can. I've been doing paperwork all morning. Things have been going well for me. I'm starting my new job next week, so hell yeah. And life's good. So I hope everyone's well. Thank you for tuning in. Stay good. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what's going on for you, and subscribe. We're almost at 50 subscribers. Actually, we're at 45 right now. 45 is my lucky number too, so it's all good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.